The sound of a trash bag ripping still lives in my ears. Dad stood in my sister's doorway, black bags at his feet, snapping orders like he was cleaning out a garage instead of a life. "It's done," he kept saying. "We forget her. We move on." His voice smelled like stale coffee and anger. Mom didn't answer. She just stared at the wall, nodding too fast the way people do when they're about to fall apart. "My name is Harper Allison, I'm 15. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned." I hovered in the hallway, gripping the doorframe. The room still held Lily's strawberry shampoo scent. Sunlight cut across her bed like it didn't know it was too late. Dad shoved a box into my arms. "Take it. Backpack to toss everything." Why did adults think throwing things away erased pain? Later, when Mom collapsed on the couch silent, I took the backpack to my room. My hands shook opening it. Inside was a folded note, creased so many times the paper felt soft. "Mommy, if you're reading this, urgently check my backpack. You'll understand everything." My throat tightened. The zipper caught. I yanked harder. A plastic envelope slid out, along with a photo and something metal that clinked softly against my desk. In the photo, Lily wasn't smiling. And written on the back, in shaky marker, was one sentence that made the room feel suddenly too small to breathe in. He said no one would believe me. I stared at the photo until my eyes burned. Lily's face was turned slightly away, like she didn't want the camera to see her flinch. There was a shadow behind her, just a blur, but I recognized the room. The community center hallway. The blue door with the chipped paint. My fingers smelled like dust and plastic as I picked up the metal thing from the desk. A locker key. Number stamped deep like it wanted to last forever. I heard Dad laughing downstairs. A TV laugh track followed, bright and wrong. I slid the backpack under my bed when footsteps passed my door. My heart thudded so loud I was sure the house could hear it. When Mom knocked, I wiped my face fast. She peeked in, eyes red, mouth trying to smile. "You okay, honey?" "I'm fine," I said. Came out too quick. She nodded anyway. That's what we did now, accepted lies to keep breathing. After she left, I opened the backpack again. I found a folded paper tucked inside a side pocket. Not a note. A printed email. The subject line made my stomach twist. Incident. Please do not escalate. My hands went cold. I read it twice, then a third time, mouthing the words. Someone had reported something. Someone had replied. Someone had closed it. At the bottom was a name I knew. A name Dad trusted. A name that made sense in the worst way. Downstairs, Dad shouted, "Harper. Trash goes out tonight." I slid the locker key into my pocket. It felt heavier than it should have. Because if Lily hid the truth in a locker, it meant someone helped keep it hidden. I waited until the house went quiet. Dad's door clicked shut. The TV died mid-laughter. Even the refrigerator seemed to hum softer, like it knew to mind its business. I slipped on my hoodie and eased the front door open, careful not to let it creak. The porch light flickered once before settling. Light used to mean safety. That night it felt like exposure. The community center was only 4 blocks away. I walked fast, keys sweating in my palm. The blue door in the photo was still there. Same chipped paint. Same dent near the handle. I pressed my ear against it first. Nothing but silence and the smell of bleach. Locker 317 sat at the end of the hall. My hands shook so hard the key missed the slot twice. When it finally turned, the sound felt too loud, like a confession. Inside were drawings Lily had hidden. Our house split in half, one side dark, one side bright. A folded therapy intake form with her name misspelled. And a sealed envelope addressed to Mom. Not Dad. Never Dad. My chest tightened. Why hide this here? Why not give it to Mom? Footsteps echoed. I froze, heart stuttering. A shadow slid under the door, stopped, then moved on. I let out a breath that tasted like metal. I stuffed everything back except the envelope. As I closed the locker, the light above flickered again, then went steady, like it had made up its mind. At home, I slid the envelope under my mattress instead of opening it. Some doors you don't rush through. Because if Lily trusted me with this, it meant she knew who would protect the truth and who wouldn't. I didn't sleep. The envelope burned under my mattress like it was alive. Every time the house creaked, I thought Dad was standing outside my door, hand raised, ready to knock, or worse, not knock at all. Around 3 a.m. I finally pulled it out. My fingers hesitated on the seal. Doors again. Always doors. Inside was a letter written in Lily's uneven handwriting, the kind she used when she was scared but trying to be brave. Mom, I tried to tell you but he was always there. He said I was dramatic. He said you needed him. If something happens to me, please don't let them say it was nothing. My vision blurred. I smelled her shampoo again like she was standing too close. At the bottom was a list. Dates, times, locations. And one name circled so hard the paper tore. The same name from the email. Morning came without asking permission. Dad banged on my door. You're late. Don't start acting weird now too. At breakfast, Mom stared into her coffee. I slid the letter halfway across the table then pulled it back when Dad looked up. Coward. Protector. I wasn't sure which one I was yet. At school, I went straight to the counselor's office. My voice shook as I said Lily's name. The counselor's smile froze, just for a second. A human crack. I noticed it. She said, some things are better left to adults. I stood up. She was a kid. The light above her desk buzzed, flickered, then steadied. And in that moment I knew. If adults wouldn't open the door, I would. I skipped my last class and went somewhere I wasn't supposed to. The administrative office smelled like lemon cleaner and old paper. The receptionist looked up, then down at her screen, then back at me, too fast. Can I help you? I'm here about my sister, I said. Saying it out loud felt like pressing on a bruise. Lily Ellison. Her fingers paused mid-type. Just a beat. Long enough. She pointed me toward a hallway with frosted glass doors. Student support services. The words were peeling like they'd been there too long without meaning it. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again harder. The door opened an inch, light spilling out. Inside, a man sat behind a desk I recognized from school assemblies. The same name from the email. The circled name from Lily's list. He smiled like we were sharing a secret joke. Harper, he said, already knowing me. This must be hard for your family. I pulled the photo from my pocket and slid it forward. His smile thinned. I added the locker key, the therapy form, the letter. Mom's letter. He didn't touch them. Grief can twist memories, he said gently. Your father asked us to handle things quietly. My ears rang. So you closed it. He leaned back. The light above us flickered, then steadied. We protected everyone. I stood up, knees shaking. No, I said. You protected yourselves. As I reached for the door, he spoke, soft, almost kind. Think carefully before you open that. I didn't turn around. Because some doors, once opened, don't just let light in. They expose everything hiding behind it. I didn't go home right away. I sat on the steps outside the office until the bell rang and kids poured out, loud and alive. Someone bumped my shoulder and said sorry without really meaning it. I wished Lily had been there to roll her eyes with me. The envelope in my pocket felt thinner now, like it had given up its secrets and left me holding the weight instead. When I finally got home, Dad's car was in the driveway. Inside, he stood by the trash can holding Lily's backpack by one strap. The zipper was open. My stomach dropped. What's this? He asked, too calm. Calm was worse. I took a breath. Her things. He pulled out the photo. His jaw tightened. You shouldn't be digging. You're hurting your mother. Mom appeared in the doorway, eyes flicking between us. I stepped forward and slid the letter into her hands. Read it, I said. My voice cracked, but I didn't stop. Please. She unfolded it. Her face changed slowly, like a door opening inch by inch. Dad reached for it. She pulled back. Is this true? She asked him. Silence. Thick. Smelled like old lies. Dad looked at me, then at Mom. She misunderstood. I shook my head. No. You did. The room felt brighter suddenly, like the lights had been turned up too high. Mom's hands trembled, but she didn't drop the letter. And in that moment I realized the door Lily had opened for me was about to swing wide enough for everyone to see inside. Mom didn't cry. That scared me more than if she had. She sat at the kitchen table with Lily's letter flattened under her palms, like she was afraid it might try to escape. Dad hovered near the sink, saying nothing now, his reflection warped in the dark window. The house felt paused. No TV, no fridge hum, just the tick of the clock we'd never fixed. I need air, Mom said finally. Her voice sounded steadier than her hands. Outside, the porch light buzzed and flickered. I stood beside her, shoulder to shoulder, the door half open behind us. Doors again. always half open. She read the letter once more, slower. When she finished, she folded it neatly like a decision. You went to the school, she said. Yes. She nodded. They called me this afternoon. Pause. They said it was resolved. I swallowed. It wasn't. She looked at me, then really looked. Not like a mother protecting peace, but like a woman recognizing truth. Where did you find the rest? I told her about the locker. The envelope. The name. She closed her eyes at that name. When she opened them, something in her had changed. The light steadied. Behind us, the door creaked. Dad stood there listening. You're making this bigger than it needs to be, he said. We can still keep this in the family. Mom stood up. The porch light snapped fully on. No, she said quietly. We can't. Dad's face hardened. If you do this. She cut him off. If we don't, we lose her twice. She stepped inside, phone already in her hand. And as the door closed behind her, I knew. The next knock wouldn't come from us. The knock came the next morning. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just firm, like someone who didn't need permission anymore. Mom opened the door while Dad stood frozen behind her, his face pale in the clean daylight. Two people introduced themselves. Calm voices. Clipboards. The kind of politeness that means things are already moving. I watched from the stairs, gripping the banister. The house smelled like toast no one ate. They asked questions. Mom answered. Dad tried once, just once, to explain. His words fell flat like he was speaking through glass. When they asked about the school, Mom handed over copies. Emails. Dates. The photo. The locker key. Proof doesn't shout. It waits. By afternoon, Dad left with a lawyer's card and a silence that followed him out the door. He didn't look back. The door closed gently behind him, and this time it didn't feel like loss. Weeks passed. The community center changed staff. The school sent letters that sounded careful and apologetic. Names disappeared from websites. Adults started saying Lily's name out loud. Mom framed one of Lily's drawings, the house split in half, and hung it by the front door. The light hits it every morning now. Sometimes I still hear the trash bag rip in my head. But it doesn't own me anymore. My name is Harper Ellison. I'm 15. And now when doors open, I know what it means to walk through them.